Welcome back to the United Stand. Welcome back to Chicago. Welcome to everybody all over the world who's joined us for this live stream. Ollie Watkins, this is a bit of exclusive news. Well, it's not exclusive because it's out there, but everyone who's asleep back in the UK, the American audience, or wherever you are in the world, you're getting this first. Fabrizio Romano is put out another update on Ollie Watkins, the price, how much it's going to cost Manchester United, and is it worth it? I want to get your opinion. How much is Ollie Watkins worth? Because I spoke about this a little bit yesterday, but right now it seems like he's the only striker left on the market that's going to have any real sort of impact for Manchester United. Is it worth paying the fee that Aston Villa want? Get your comments in. Also, a goalkeeper, it's not Loz. It's not Loz cast on the thumbnail. I saw a few comments saying, why is Loz on the thumbnail? And do you know what? He actually looks so much like him. But it's not Loz wanting to play in goal for Manchester United, although, could he do a better job? It is Lammens. Lammens is indicated that he wants to join Manchester United from Antwerp. Can Manchester United get it done while they are on this tour? Can they get him in, considering we're going to be playing Altay Bayindir and Tom Heaton in goal for the majority of this tour? That ain't good enough. That is not good enough for Manchester United. I understand we're in the friendlies, but what about when the season starts? Is Andre Onana going to be back from injury? Is he going to be sharp? Is he going to be fresh? And even so, is he even good enough? That's the question mark that's out there. So going to be talking a little bit about that and also some other bits and pieces as well that I want to bring into the show a little bit later on. But make sure, this show is all about you guys. Get your comments in. Any questions, please, guys. I really want to answer some questions on this show. Like, make them really, really juicy, really interesting. Try and keep them football related, but ask me some questions and we'll do a little bit of a Q&A as well throughout the show. But I also want to introduce the location that we are streaming from right now, because this location is absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant, and it is the IO rooftop in Chicago. Let me just double check that there, because apparently I need to get the full name up. 1 second. Oh gosh, here we go. I want to make sure that it's fully right. It's the IO Roofscape. I mean, I call this a rooftop, but it's the IO Roofscape in Chicago at the Godfrey Hotel. So make sure you come and check it out. I mean, we're out the way right now because there's music blasting in there, there's drinks flowing. It's a really good vibe in the main bar and restaurant area. They've got big TVs where you can go and watch the football, or the soccer, as you would say. I call it football, they might call it soccer. I mean, there's a nice bar going. I can vouch that the cocktails are fantastic and the food looks unreal as well. I really want to try it. So make sure you check it out, the IO Roofscape in Chicago at the Godfrey Hotel. Thank you very much for hosting us. They've been brilliant as well. The staff are fantastic. The service has been amazing. They've even provided me with a little Fiji water, and I always feel very posh when I have a Fiji water. And I'll be sipping on that in a second because it's not quite as hot as last night, but I'm still warm. It is warm out here. But welcome everybody. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Let me get them in. I wonder how dark it'll go tonight, by the way. Do you remember yesterday? We started off and it was bright and light, and then by the end of the show, we were basically in pitch black, and it was beautiful, to be honest with you. I kind of was watching it back. You could make a time lapse out of it. But let's get going on Ollie Watkins, because I know you are anticipating the news that I'm going to bring to you that Fabrizio Romano has put out, and it is this. It is that in recent hours, Manchester United have had contact with Aston Villa for Ollie Watkins. Now, we already knew that, but he has also said Aston Villa have indicated that they want to keep the player and they don't want to negotiate. It has to be a very good proposal to change their mind. That, to me, feels like a brief out of Aston Villa, and it's kind of, they've kind of put that message out there today that they don't want to sell Watkins, they want to keep Watkins. I mean, you had it on the Mark 8 PM show, you've had it throughout the day. I know that, but when Romano's saying it, and it's coming to Romano, and then he adds that bit in at the end, in capital letters, has to be a very good offer to change their minds. I think Aston Villa see us coming. I really do. I think they see us coming. I think they would be open to letting Watkins go, because we've spoken about this. I don't think Ollie Watkins and Unai Emery's relationship is the strongest right now. Ollie Watkins has obviously entertained the interest from Manchester United, and I think they would be open to letting him go. But I think what they're trying to put out there is, we want a huge fee for Ollie Watkins, because Aston Villa need money. They do. I know they're not in a position where they're going to be fined massive amounts if they don't sell, but They do need money. We know that has been widely reported. And if a player wants to leave and hasn't got the best relationship anymore with the manager, surely it's in their best interest to cash in on him and bring in another striker. The issue Manchester United have is Villa looking at it and they're thinking, we're into the second half of the window, we're nearly at the time where the Premier League kicks off. We don't have another striker that currently, is a first choice for us and can do it up front. So we'd have to go and buy another striker as well. We'd have to go and invest into the market for another striker, and strikers are costly. Sesko looks like he's going to Newcastle. By the way, going to be honest, I said it on the show yesterday, I don't think we're missing out not getting Sesko. People might be a little bit heartbroken about that. I really don't think we're missing out that much. It might just be the games that I've watched of him, but from the select games I have watched of him, potential, absolutely potential. Potential is there, 100%. But he's not the finished product, and I think he still needs a lot more work to be able to start regularly up front for Manchester United and do what we need him to do. So I'm not too bothered about the Sesko situation, and I do think he's overpriced as well, very, very expensive. Looks like he's going to go to Newcastle. I mean, Isak, Jesus. I mean, people bringing that up. Like, I actually saw Twitter in meltdown mode because they're like, United need to go and get Isak. Never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It should be happening. It absolutely should be happening, but it's not going to happen. And there's Gyökeres has gone to Arsenal, Osimhen's off to Turkey, Ekatike's gone to Liverpool. It looks like Isak's going to Liverpool potentially. There's just not going to be many strikers left on the market. And then you're looking around, you're thinking, Ollie Watkins is there, Mateta's there, but Mateta is super quiet, and Crystal Palace I don't think want to sell. So I think both Palace and Villa hold all the cards. United need a striker, and they're going to want big money because they know that United are desperate and there's not many other options left on the market. How much is Ollie Watkins worth? Well, I fully prepared myself that we're going to be starting the season off with either Mbuemo up front or Cunha up front, or Xerxes or Højlund. But I think it'd probably be Mbuemo or Cunha. Do I think that's acceptable? No. Do I think it's the end of the world? Also no, but I really do think United need a striker in this window. I really do. But I don't know if we've got the money to go and get one. So where do you play it with Watkins? The Watkins, I wouldn't mind paying the money. It's the issue, the fact he's 30 in December. How many years do you get out of him? His injury record is pretty good until last season. Like, how many years do you actually get out of Watkins? 4 or 5? I think that's worth putting a fair bit of money down, to be honest with you, because he's guaranteed goals. And I've got a couple of things to read out as well, which I think is super exciting when you think of the prospect of having Acuna, Mbuemo and Ollie Watkins front three. So let me get them up. Let me bring in some of these stats that I have, because it is exciting if we do it. And I also want to bring in something about Isak as well, because I've seen people get excited, and I love the blind optimism, but it's just not going to happen. However, with Isak, I actually think it could have happened. Despite coming 15th, I think we could have done that deal if, and Newcastle fans and opposition fans might watch this and think, what is she on about? Like, Isak's not coming to 15th place Manchester United. I think we could have got him if we won the Europa League. And everyone's like, not everyone, that's like, I'm kind of putting everyone in the same box here, but a lot of people are like, it might actually be an advantage that we lost the Europa League final to 17th place Spurs. It might be an advantage for us having one game a week next season, not having that money for Champions League football. It might be an advantage. We're in the summer. We've got Chris Wheeler's literally putting out there that Manchester United are struggling for money after signing Cunha and Mbuemo. Not taking anything away from them too. Two fantastic signings, Premier League proven, got the goals, like good footballers. Very, very happy with them. Great pieces of business. But we've not got any money left. And we would never attract a player like Isak. In my opinion, one of the best strikers, if not the best striker in Europe at the moment. We wouldn't be able to attract him because we've not got any sort of European football. You've got Champions League football, there's a big chance. We're Manchester United, like some people, even I forget it sometimes, put the money on the table. We're Manchester United, like Mbuemo was waiting all summer for us. Cunha wanted to join us, even though we had Champions League clubs putting offers down for him. Like, we are Manchester United. If we had that Champions League football, I think there could have been a genuine chance. And not getting it's such a shame. It really is. We can't go back in time. I don't want to be negative. We've just got to move forward. I do think Ollie Watkins, we've got to go for him. I know it might cost us a bit more than what we think, but I think we've got to go for him. I think the thought of relying on Højlund and Xerxes next season, although I think Xerxes is actually going to have a good season and I think he's got a lot of potential, we need that experience. We need that number 9 that we can count on. So I don't think they're going to be able to do this full season for us. And if you play Mbuemo and Cunha there, I don't care what anyone says, it is a makeshift. Mbuemo had the most expected crosses in the whole league last year. Mbuemo had the most expected crosses in the whole league. His crosses are fantastic. He linked up with Wissa, the striker, brilliantly. Don't play him up front because he's got so many other attributes that complement the team and complement a proper striker. Cunha, at Atletico Madrid, it didn't work playing him up front. At Wolves, he played up front, but he was always better just behind the striker in the 10. So, yeah, we need a striker, and I would go for Watkins, and I've got more on that in a second. We've got Keith Akers saying, hope you're enjoying Chicago. Would 50 million be the number that it would take to get Watkins, or would a Garnacho-Watkins loan swap be more likely? I honestly, not to disrespect the boss, love you, Mark, do. I was watching his show, I was watching his show earlier, and I saw his comments about a Garnacho loan to Villa and a Watkins loan to United. I just don't see it happening. I'm going to be honest, I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. I don't see us loaning Garnacho. I think we want the money, and I don't see Villa loaning us Watkins for a season. I really don't. Also, by the way, Villa are getting a bad deal there. A loan for Garnacho and a loan for Watkins. Watkins is the better player. Like, he is the better player, I think. So I don't see Villa accepting that, to be honest with you, because they'd still need the money to go and get a striker, and they're not getting any money in from Watkins. Garnacho's not going to play up front, is he? So I personally, I just do not see that happening. I'm going to be completely honest on that. I think the money that you would need for Watkins is, I think you're going to need around 50 million at least. And it's weird, right? The start of the window, I would have been like, no, not Watkins. I think we need someone like, that has the potential to be elite. But I'm sick of beating around the bush. Get me a striker that can score goals. And if you've seen his assist record as well, and can do it in the Premier League, okay, yeah, he's 29, he's 30 in December. Players don't retire at 30. Like, players are lasting a lot longer now. His injury record's decent. Before last season, it was very good. He's been putting up numbers in the Premier League for a while now. He's got all the attributes that Ruben Amorim would want from his striker. It's not just the goals, it's the link-up play, it's the running of the channels, it's the work rate. I think he gets the best out of other players around him as well. I've really, really grown to the idea of Watkins, and it's about time we just make a safe bit of business. Oh, we might overpay a little bit, but we need a striker, and we've got ourselves into this situation. It's a situational circumstance as well, and I would be happy to pay 50 million for Watkins. I'd be happy to do that, because I think you get at least 4 good years out of him, and that's worth it to me. I really do. For a player that's getting 30 plus goal and assist contributions in Premier League seasons, that's worth it for me. You've got Jordan in. You've got Jordan in the house. Jordan, I called you out on X about FPL. I beat you last year. I'm beating you again this year. I love you. Shout out to you in Marbella. Why am I getting in half cut in Marbella, and Beth and Ryan are live in America? Definitely can tell you half cut with the way you've wrote that super chat out. Tell you what, you're gonna have to give me some cocktail recommendations and some places to go when I'm in Marbella. I'm coming to Marbella in August, Jordan. You better be ready for me. I'm coming to party. Love Hate Game says swap deal plus 40 mil for Martinez 2-4-1. Again, I just don't think Villa will do it. Realistically, Villa have got 2 players that are unhappy in Watkins and Martinez. The difference is with Villa and United is we have the 5, one of them's gone in Rashford, and everybody knows that they aren't coming on the tour. They're unhappy at United. Ruben Amorim doesn't want them, and he's made that very, very clear. I mean, it leaked out, you better pray you can find a club, all that jazz. Aston Villa do have 2 players that aren't 100% happy in Martinez and Watkins. Both want new challenges, both want new clubs, right? I'm not sure if Ollie Watkins absolutely wants a new club. We know Martinez does. I know Ollie Watkins isn't the happiest, and I know he wanted to move in January. And I know he's open to talking to United, so I would indicate, and I know his relationship with Emery isn't as strong as it was, so I would indicate he probably would want a new challenge. But Villa have kept it very, very on the quiet. I mean, people know about it, but it's not as big news as United, where they're absolutely segregated. There's no way back. So it would work. It would work well for Villa to get two players out that aren't the happiest. You don't want unhappy players playing for you, but we saw what Watkins was doing even after him and Emery weren't in the best place last season. He was still scoring goals, he was still contributing. It can't last forever if a player isn't 100% happy, but it would work for Villa, that, but I still don't think they'd do it. I think they'd want more. I think they'd want more than, if you think about it, Garnacho and 40 million, that super chat just put in there, how much is Garnacho worth? Probably around 40. So you're giving 80 million for Martinez and Watkins. I think Villa should take that and run, but I think they'd want more, which is mad. I mean, they wanted 40 million just for Martinez, which is crazy. I think the rumour is that they want 60. They want 60 million for Ollie Watkins at 29-13 December. I think that's a bit steep. 50 though, that's where I'm drawing the line. Would you pay 60? I'm getting to that point of desperation where I think maybe I would. He doesn't suddenly retire when he gets to 30 years old. He doesn't suddenly just, like, you know, his legs start seizing up and he can't do it anymore. However, his game does rely on his physical attributes as well. So, I mean, how much is he worth? Comment down below as well. You have Canna Dave says, shame Ghana didn't have the work ethic. Lonnie Rice says, the meet and greet was horrible, only let 150 fans in. I didn't go to that, but I saw it. It looked mental, like the amount of people that were queuing up. Obviously, you know, they've got to handle these events with caution because of the players, but I feel very, very sorry for the people that queued up and didn't get to do the meet and greet if they thought that they were doing that. Jose Brancho Roja says, is the United stand doing anything before/after the Chicago match? Well, every single one of these games, we're going to be in and around the stadium, hoping to do a bit of tailgating, hoping to, you know, get involved with the fans. So we'll be in and around, and we want to see as many fans as possible and get their voices out there. So absolutely, like I've said, I've had a few people send me messages, DM me about if they're going to be there, and I'm getting my way through to responding people and seeing if they want to link up and be part of the channel while we're on this US tour. Feel free to do that. Feel free to give us a message and we'll try and work something out. Absolutely do. Omar T says, Beth, you should come and visit San Francisco. It's on my list. It is on my list. I really do want to visit San Fran at some point. Daryl Street says, welcome back to America, Beth. Do you think with better players in Cunha and Mbuemo to feed, do you think Højlund could be decent this season? I'll tell you what, that's a great point that I'm going to include into my preview when I do that as well. But I think that's a big one for Saturday and for this US tour. We've now got Mbuemo. In the Leeds game, it was just Cunha. Cunha was by far the brightest spark, but Højlund still didn't look like scoring. Like, he still didn't. And he played 45 minutes. Oh wait, him and Cunha didn't play together, did they? So I don't scrap that, rewind. Obi was on with Cunha and Højlund was on the second half with Mount and who was the other 10 in that game? I can't even remember. No, it wasn't. Collier was playing in the first half. Feel free to speak, by the way, Ryan. Get involved. He's like this. Collier was in the first half. Who was the other 10? It was Mount and somebody in the second half. And in the first half, it was Cunha and Collier. And it was Obi up front. Who did Højlund play with? I would love to see Højlund in front of Cunha and Mbuemo at the game on Saturday. I would love to see that. I would really love to see that, because I think that's a really great point. If Højlund is playing in front of Cunha and Mbuemo, is he more likely to kick on, get more chances and be better than what we've seen? I mean, I do think hopefully, I mean, he's got to be better than what he was last season. Last season, I think he would stand here and admit that it was a poor season for him, and I actually think he went backwards from his first season at the club. The issue with Højlund for me is sometimes when he does certain things, I just don't think it looks very natural. and there's a lot of elements to his game that he has to improve. His hold-up play, his hold-up play isn't to do with, you know, having better players in behind him. Like, that's something he's got to work on. His anticipation of where the ball's going to be in the box, like, that is key for a striker. Cavani's one of the best person I've ever seen do it. His anticipation to know where that ball's coming to and get on the end of it is second to none, and that's what a top level striker needs. Højlund, I don't feel like has that striker's instinct and gets in the right place at the right time. It really is an art, and I think that's something that Watkins got so much better at under Unai Emery. And I remember Watkins actually doing an interview post-game when he'd done really well, and he said that Unai Emery had worked with him and shown him a lot of clips of Edison Cavani, and that's how he kind of adapted his game, and that's why Watkins is so good at kind of smelling that danger in the box and getting on the end of them balls when they're coming in. Another plus about Watkins, Højlund just doesn't have that. So I would like to see if he can do better with Cunha and Mbuemo behind him. I think that's a really good point, and I hope Amorim does it. In these pre-season games, let's put Cunha and Mbuemo behind Højlund, and let's see if Højlund looks like he's going to score anytime soon, because that would be a good indication for next season as well. Mantato, a lot of people are saying, now I remember. Mantato, he looks like a promising player, actually. Mario24 says, how do you think Watkins will do in Amorim's system? I don't feel that Isak would have come to us. Liverpool prospect holds higher value, unfortunately. Yeah, I agree, obviously. You know, Liverpool right now are in a much better position than Manchester United, and they're kind of building a super team, which scares the life out of me. That should be United, by the way. It should be. But you never know how things play out. Like, I'll be shocked if they end up with Ekitike and Isak. Like, I know there's talk about them playing Ekitike off the left, but wow, it's just greedy. It's greedy. It really is. You know, it's like you're in a queue at a bakery. There's 2 cookies left. There's one person behind you, and you go, "Can I have 2 cookies, please?" And there's someone right behind you, and it's like, could have just had one. Like, do they really need both? Like, really? He probably, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say he would have chosen United over Liverpool. I think he would have obviously chosen Liverpool if it was a choice between them 2 clubs. But, you know, the butterfly effect, if United got in the Champions League, you never know. We definitely could have attracted more players. I mean, I'm over the moon we ended up attracting Mbuemo and Cunha, to be honest with you. But I think we could have attracted more players. I mean, Delap, Gyökeres, like, you know, others as well. We also, it gets dark so fast. Everyone's saying it's already going dark, isn't it, over here? It already is. Like, he's beautiful though to watch, and it's cool. It's great to kind of be around. I want to bring up this message actually that a friend of mine sent me, and I am going to bring in the Lammens news in a second, because I do want to get onto that. But we're talking about Watkins right now. He's very chilled. We're having a good chat, and I want to bring in this. So, first of all, I'll bring in this. Mbuemo and Watkins played together for Brentford, remember, in the Championship before Watkins moved to Aston Villa. So, in the Championship in 2019-2020, Mbuemo and Watkins had 42 goals between them. That's exciting. It excites me as well, and I think people forget this, right? Mbuemo and Watkins already have a relationship. That's something that goes under the radar, because some players just work way better together than others, and when you've got that relationship, you've got that chemistry, you're straight into it. So that's exciting. I mean, 42 goals between them. Yeah, it was in the Championship, but we've seen how well both of them have done in the Premier League, so we know we can do it in this league as well. That's exciting. And then I also put out this tweet, and I want to read a reply that I got from it and ask your guys' opinion. If you ask me now, Sesko or Watkins, it'd have to be Watkins. It might just be the select games I've watched, I said this before, watch Sesko in, but I don't think he's ready now for what we need. Potential 100%, but not there yet. Watkins isn't elite, but he's a very good Premier League striker and has the attributes Amorim's system requires. You know, linking up the play, the running of the channels, you know, making other players around him, like getting them involved. I think he actually makes them better. We've seen, you know, what he's done at Villa with bringing other players into play. He's done it for England as well. Obviously, the only worry is that he is 30 in December and the cost that that Aston Villa are going to ask for. But I've said it before, I've said it again. I'm not just saying it because Sesko looks like he's heading off to Newcastle. If you asked me, Sesko or Watkins, I would pick Watkins. That's what United need. For United, every club's different. We need a Premier League proven striker that's going to come in and do the business. We can't afford to take risks on a super expensive prospect. That is my opinion. You can have a different one. Of course you can. I got this reply. And then I put afterwards, yes, of course I break the bank for Isak, but I'm living on planet Earth and it's never going to happen. It should be happening for a club of United stature, but unfortunately we've fallen behind, and a player like Watkins will at least help us begin to catch up. So someone sent me it and they said, Watkins is guaranteed to score between 15 and 20 goals in a season. He's a top signing if he goes even for 40 mil, you get 2 years till there's a striker worth spending 100 million on. So you spend 50 million on Watkins, you get a couple of years, I think you get probably 2 or 3 years, and then when the next striker surfaces, because there will be one, there will be the next, Ekatike, there will be the next Isak even, and until that player comes forward and we're in a position to financially really kind of get that absolutely elite striker in for the next how many years, Watkins would be a really good, expensive stopgap for us. And is it even a stopgap to go on for 2, 3, 4 years, which I think he can do, and then he just kind of fizzles into the background as coming on for 20 minutes here and there. I think it could work. I really do think it could work. You can also, continue to develop the younger strikers. I do think Obi probably needs a loan, but if Amrin wants to keep him around, I think it'd be really beneficial for him. I'd go for it. I would go for it personally. But if you wouldn't go for it, comment and let me know why, because I like to see both sides of the coin on this one. And we've got a poll in the chat. Should United sign Watkins or Sesko? And let's see what you guys think. I have made a very big case for Watkins. And if you're voting for Sesko, how many games have you watched? Because I've actually watched quite a few of his, and not 1,000,000% sold, guys. I'm not. I don't know. Do I have Ten Hag's talent ID? Let me know. Anyway, let's bring in the goalkeeper stuff. Okay, so Fabrizio Romano also said this. Senne Lammens is keen on joining Manchester United, and this is the keeper that we've been linked to for the last couple of weeks from Antwerp. Young, I'm pretty sure he's 22. A lot of people are saying he's got the attributes to be the next Courtois. I don't want to use statements like that. I think it's a bit dangerous to get people's hopes up that high. But he's exciting. He's a great shot stopper. His shot stopping is fantastic. And apparently he's good at coming off his line. He's got real potential. So that's exciting. And I think Manchester United's priorities right now are a striker, a keeper, then a midfielder if we can afford it. I think right now, it doesn't look like we're anywhere near to negotiating for a first choice keeper. Onana's not going, he's just not going anywhere. Go and get Senne Lammens. Let's just go and do it. He's not going to cost you that much. I think it was rumoured to be around 13 to 17 million. Probably could get him for around the 30 and 40 million pound mark. That's not that much for a good second choice keeper that has the capability and the potential to become the number one. I think he could actually potentially challenge Onana next season, which I want to see. I want to see when Onana goes to AFCON, our second choice keeper coming in and really making a statement to be the first choice keeper. That's what I want to see. And Bindier isn't going to do that. He's had his opportunity and he's just not. He's not good enough. He needs to go. Tom Heaton's probably our best keeper at the moment, and he's not going to be our first choice. So go and get Senne Lammens in. Let's go and do it, because we're not, let's be honest. Let's not kid ourselves. We're not going to go and buy a first choice keeper. We're just not. Onana's not going anywhere. It's not going to happen. Let's go and get Senne Lammens. He wants to join. He's young. Okay, it might be a bit of a risk, but if it doesn't work out, you're not going to lose much money. Let's go and do it. Let's bring someone in and get him in. Let's have him in for the last game of the tour. It's not going to happen, but that's what I would have wanted to do. Let's have him for that Fiorentina game at Old Trafford. Let's do it. I think United should speed up on the keeper situation, because Onana is risky, Bindier isn't good enough, and Heaton's third choice. I really do think we need to speed up on the keeper situation. I think a lot of people are kind of thinking it's all going to be okay. We need at least a competitive number two, we really do. And Lammens is right there. He's not too expensive, and he's got a bit of potential. Let's just go and pay that money for him and get him in. Let's not wait around, because what are we waiting for? we're not going to get Emi Martinez, we're not going to get Diogo Costa. And if you get Senne Lammens in, right, let me paint the picture for you. You get Senne Lammens in, AFCON comes around, or even, you know, when you, like, say if there's a cup game or Carabao Cup, FA Cup, whatever, he puts in some good performances. He's Amorim's guy. He benches Onana then. He benches Onana for a bit. First of all, signal sent to Onana. Onana might be really trying to find a move then next summer if he knows he's not going to be number one, and it's kind of been proven that over the course of the season. And then if Senne Lammens, you know, you think to yourself, he's coming and he's done well, maybe not ready to be number one full time, but it's definitely in our rotation and in our roster. You then go and spend once Onana goes, because he's realised, oh, I'm getting pushed out here, and he kind of gets on the phone to his agent and says, you know what, like, I can't just hang around again. I'm not actually going to be starting because Lammens is starting ahead of me, and that's going to happen next season as well if I don't get a move. Onana goes, and then you get the money in and you make that space to bring in Amorim's first choice that he literally spoke to in January and has told people he wants him as his number one choice. I mean, we had the Portuguese journalist on, Sebastião Sousa Pinto, saying that Amorim spoke to Costa in January and said, I want you to be my number one keeper. You can then do that. So it's a domino effect, as Romano would say. It's a domino effect in the transfer window. I think we should go and do this deal. I did say, personally, I would prefer to get a first choice in like an Emi Martinez, but we're not going to do that. I've accepted it. Let's go and get Senne Lammens in and hope to God that everyone who's calling him Courtois 2.0 is at least halfway along the right lines. Yeah, it might be a little bit risky, but it's worth the risk, absolutely worth the risk. Bayer says, Beth, what I want to see in this pre-season game is to see Manchester United play some good football, as well have good patterns of play under this manager. Don't we all, Bayer? I really want to see that, I really do. Mason Mount was speaking a little bit today, and I want to bring in his quotes towards the end of the show as well. He was speaking out here in Chicago, and he was saying that it's a fresh start. They're not looking too much into last season. It hurts massively, but it's a fresh start. There's a lot of detail going into this pre-season, and their aim is this is interesting. Their aim is to get European football. He said the aim's Champions League football, but European football is what we want at the end of next season. How do you feel about a Manchester United player coming out and saying that, by the way? Because obviously we're used to hearing Man United needs to win the Premier League. Like, look, me and you both know that isn't going to happen, and Mason Mount probably doesn't want to say it because he knows it's not going to happen. But how do you feel about a player kind of accepting the fact that they're not actually striving for the Premier League next year, they're striving for Europe? And I think that's the right ambition, by the way, because I think that is what Manchester United should be targeting. I think that's realistic. I would be very, very disappointed if Manchester United did not have European football, by the way, next season. If we get to the end of next season and we're not in Europe, and I'm not even talking about the Conference League, I'm talking about at least the Europa League, I will not be happy. Like, I won't. Like, United have to be at least in the Europa League. I mean, there was a day when we'd say we have to at least be in the Champions League. But how do you feel about a player saying that? Like, it used to be, we want to win the Premier League. Now it's, we want to get Europe, ideally Champions League. It just kind of shows where we've dropped to, and we really need to push these standards up. I get that he's trying to be realistic, and I understand that. I don't have an issue with it personally, because I understand. But we have to be aiming for Champions League, have to be. And Europa League still isn't good enough, but it's hard to say it's acceptable, but I would accept it. No European football. I would be fuming, to be honest with you. Let me get the last couple of super chats in. We have Mario24 says, if I'm honest, he should not have bought Mbuemo. We should have bought a keeper, which then would have made Onana one out. We need a keeper. We will let so many goals in. I think Mbuemo is going to be transformative, and if you have the opportunity to get Mbuemo, you've got to get him. It was the opportunity this summer to get Mbuemo. If we didn't get him, he would have gone to Newcastle. I think Mbuemo will be transformative, and I'm very happy that we got him. Enrique Manjara says, you guys are down the road from me. Need some food recommendations, let me know. Sent Ryan a message on Instagram. Be safe, guys. Hope to see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you, Enrique, very much. We'll definitely take your recommendations. Would love that. And obviously, we're back in Chicago for the game in Chicago next week. So absolutely, we'll be targeting your recommendations left, right, and centre. Mario24 says, how do you think Watkins will do in Amorim's system? I don't feel like... Oh, yeah, I've done that one. Thank you, everyone, for the comments coming in. Right, going to wrap up the show in 2 minutes. Just need a glass of water. Thirsty work. Thirsty work. Last bit I want you to bring in is this bit here from Chris Wheeler. Man United rule out a move for unsettled Newcastle star Isak and other expensive options like Benjamin Sesko and Nicholas Jackson as they struggle to afford a new striker after spending more than 130 million on Brian Mbuemo and Mateus Cunha. That makes me worried for if we're actually even going to get a striker, to be honest with you. That does make me worried a little bit. So be prepared, guys. We're talking about Watkins or Sesko here. Be prepared for no striker. I'm prepared for it. I am. I don't think it's acceptable for a club like Manchester United, but I'm prepared. It's just frustrating because it takes the shine off Cunha and Mbuemo, which are such good signings. If you add a striker to that, I mean, Watkins, Cunha and Mbuemo front three in the Premier League, I genuinely think that takes us from 15th up into at least Europa League spots. And then, I mean, if you had a midfielder, I can't even stress how important a midfielder is as well. If we would have won the Europa League final, we would have had these problems solved and we could have had a really competitive season next season, but we didn't, so there's no point harping on about that. Mr. Miracle says, Beth, we all know that is vodka. No, it's not. No, it's not. It will be at some point within these 2 weeks, and, you know, see if you'll catch me then, but not right now, it's not. We've got to be up early tomorrow for something exciting that we will be covering on the United stand, so stay tuned for that. But look, everyone, it's time for me to wrap up. I've absolutely loved speaking to you all once again. We are now in pitch black Chicago. I cannot wait to see what this looks like back on the live stream. And thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for getting into the comments. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, let me know, how did the poll end actually on Sesko? I've not got it anymore, if someone can tell me.
57 Watkins.
57% said Watkins. That's kind of a shift. And I think that kind of shows where our audience are at right now. We just want someone certified to come in and do the business. We want that. So thank you everyone for watching. I will love you and leave you. Thank you for staying up if you did back home. If not, if you're from the US or other parts of the world where you're in a time zone that kind of suits this show, we're going to be doing more of these. We really are. We want to include every single part of our audience. And I have to say, one last thank you to I.O. Roofscape in Chicago at the Godfrey Hotel. You can tell I've not got a teleprompter. The I.O. Roofscape, the Godfrey Hotel in Chicago, for an amazing backdrop, amazing service, amazing drinks. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys on the next one.